We're here now for the 2020 Best Harbor Awards ceremony. And welcome to you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. I'm Anastasia, I'm president of U.S. Harbors. And for those of you who don't know, U.S. Harbors is a tides and weather site with a focus on local communities and businesses. Our mission is to support the vitality and sustainability of coastal communities across the U.S. And this is our second annual Best Harbor contest. We run the contest every year in the late spring, and it started in 2019. And awareness and participation has been growing at a crazy pace. This year, almost 100,000 people participated, and 786 out of our 1,400 harbors received votes. It's like a huge number, and we're super proud of every one of them. It was really fun for us at the office watching the votes come in as the communities around the country were vying for one another for the top spot. One week, one harbor would have it, and the next week, another harbor would have it. And so it was very, very close down to the wire of the last weekend where there were just a really fast pace of things coming in. It was really exciting. So here today to celebrate, we have the forces behind this year's winning harbor, which is Depoe Bay, Oregon, woohoo! As well as others from our team at U.S. Harbors and last year's Best Harbor winners, Padanaram, Massachusetts. So here we go. Hey there. So a bit of housekeeping. I want to let you all know that we have a live Q&A stream going. So please use the Q&A link at the bottom of your window if you have a question for one of the presenters, and we'll make sure to get you your answer. So with no more ado, let me get started by introducing everyone. So from Depoe Bay, we have Laura Ferguson, the Executive Director of Discover Depoe Bay. Hey, Laura.
Hello.
Laura was really actively engaged from the very beginning of the contest, spreading the word through every channel she had available, and we're happy to announce that she gets our first ever 2020 Cheerleader Award, Community Cheerleader Award. So Laura, we'll be sending you a little prize for that.
Get some pom-poms or something.
Absolutely. Some like branded U.S. Harbor pom-poms.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you did an incredible job helping propel Depoe Bay to its win. And so next we have Bill Johnson, who I guess, Bill, you're on the phone, but he can't, I see Bill's name, Laura, but I don't know if he can see me.
I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Hi, Bill. Bill is the board president for Discover Depoe Bay, and Bill's been leading this very active and successful Chamber of Commerce for several years now, and is also the former fire chief of Depoe Bay. So thanks.
It's a different Bill Johnson.
Sorry, we got the wrong bio.
The other one's about 30 years younger than me.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We also have on the phone Mayor Gambino, the current mayor of Depoe Bay. And I don't know if they're on the phone, but the team at the Depoe Bay town office may also be joining us. And from Padanaram, Massachusetts, the 2019 Best Harbor in the U.S., we have Steve Melo, their wonderful Harbormaster. Hey, Steve. And then we have Roy Hildebrand, the Harbormaster from Depoe Bay. Thanks for joining, Roy. Nice to see you and nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Great, so let's get on. Oh, and finally, we have our wonderful Alicia Biggert here from our team at U.S. Harbor. So you can't see Alicia in the live stream, but Alicia manages our editorial content and social channels, and she's been instrumental in helping us launch and execute the Best Harbor contest. So congratulations to all of you from Depoe Bay for grabbing the title of Best Harbor in the U.S. From 2020. It's so wonderful that you're able to be on here. So starting with you, Bill, as the president of Depoe Bay's Chamber of Commerce, longtime resident, can you tell us a little bit about Depoe Bay and why it makes it so special? What makes it the best harbor in the United States?
Depoe Bay is a fantastic location in a fantastic spot on the central Oregon coast. We're a town of about 1,500 people, but we have on any given day an additional 1,500 people staying in timeshares, hotels, big B&Bs, whatever, because we have fantastic fishing, crabbing, and whale watching. And the harbor is there that is critical to this tourism component that we have here. Small town, but the whales, because of the seawall and the deep water right up next to the shore, you're able to see the whales within a matter of 15, 20 yards. And that is very exciting to the many visitors that come here. The water, just day by day is different. And the ocean waves are just beautiful, just to look at it itself. But we've got outstanding professional people here that if you want to go fishing for salmon, halibut, tuna, groundfish, snapper, cod, they have the expertise. We have people with marine backgrounds that can take you out and talk to you about the whales, the seals, the other ocean life that is out so close to our harbor. Fantastic place, really is.
That's wonderful. I can't wait to make my visit. I'm disappointed about this year that we can't be there in person as we normally are, but sometime soon. Hey, Bill, can you describe the community, of the different kinds of people that live in Depoe Bay and their strengths as a community?
Obviously, being the things I just described, we're tourism oriented. And so the restaurants, the lodging, and et cetera, the merchants focus in on that. And the people that are doing the fishing, crabbing, and the actual tours to see the whales and et cetera, we have that kind of personnel. We have a tremendous number of retired people here. And that is absolutely fantastic for this community, because we have a number of volunteer corps there to take care of the activity. We have a wonderful crab feed every year, a Native American style salmon bay. We have a fleet of flowers activity, and these older people step in. We have probably 100, 150 of them that just step in every year. So there's a combination of people, the professional, and a lot of retired people here to help pitch in.
That sounds amazing. You guys are so lucky to have that kind of vitality in your community. So now let's hear a bit from you, Laura, as our 2020 Community Spirit Cheerleader for Depoe Bay. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and its members?
Yes, the Depoe Bay Chamber has been around, I think now 72 years. And and I just joined a little bit over a year ago, really the first paid leadership that the organization has had. So it's been great to, even though I'm only part-time position, it's been great to be able to get more exposure for Depoe Bay and share the secret, though we don't want to share it too broadly, but and we have about 75 members, both associate members as well as our business members for the chamber. And then about, maybe 6 months ago, we launched a DBA, Doing Business As, Discover Depoe Bay, to help us promote the tourism and visitor aspect of the community. And that's a big part of my job. So.
Wonderful. And what is your favorite thing about the harbor?
That's a hard one. I have some weird attraction, unknown attraction to harbors and ports and marinas. I am a sailor, I fish, I crab, and remember as a kid, I actually grew up in Portland, so maybe that was part of it, but as a kid, Portland's about a couple hours from Depoe Bay. So I remember as a kid going to Depoe Bay and just being awed by how the boats could get into the harbor. It's the world's smallest navigable harbor, so it's actually can be very dangerous and tricky getting in to the harbor. It's very narrow. So I think just that aspect of it. Also, there's just a great energy and community around the harbor and all of the boats and the captains and the different charters, as well as the whale watching charter boats, and we also do have scenic cruises around the harbor and the bay. It's also, I love that it's also right next to our community park. And as Bill mentioned, which our park is complete with a little boat for the kids, as well as sea creatures to sit on and ride on. So they've extended that theme into the park. And just really unique. Yet the other day I saw one of the restaurants called Whale Bites, actually, that was on, it's in the harbor, there's a view of the harbor. They actually took a captain's to-go order in a bag. He put his net out and got his lunch in a paper bag through the net. So he didn't have to even dock. So just a lot of unique things, and it's really a family. Everybody watches out for each other.
That's awesome. That is super awesome. So can you tell us, what did you do to secure the win for this year's contest?
Well, we received a lot of marketing grants for the community. Very fortunate, both through Travel Oregon and the Oregon Coast Visitors Association, as well as Lincoln County. So a lot of support from them. And what we were able to do is, really do a lot of outreach for the community and all the different things there are to do there. But also I am not a social media expert, but I know marketing, and I know the importance and impact of social media. And so we've hired a very good social media contractor, and she was on top of it and really encouraging the vote and all of that. So just really getting it out there, and just in a year we've reached. We have 6,000 folks that are engaging with our Facebook page alone. So that helped a lot. Plus, it's an amazing place and people know about it. I mean, that's people, what we hear from visitors that come back year after year is just, it's their favorite spot. They love it. It's a small community. We're in between two larger communities. So they get the peace and quiet of a smaller community, but they have access to other things that they might want to do.
That is very, very cool. So tell us, do you have plans for to celebrate? What are your plans to commemorate the win?
Well, being creative is the first need for the plan for a celebration. And we've actually already engaged with some of our volunteers, as well as a new hotel that is right on the harbor. It's called the SCP, Soul Community Planet Hotel, and it's all about holistic hospitality. So a great new partner for the chamber, and they have a beautiful deck right off of their hotel that also would allow us to have social distancing, and we may just do an open house type environment so people can come and go, and we just keep the capacity where it needs to be. And also it would also allow for other folks to be down below if we need to do that. So it gives us that access. And we had a similar celebration we're actually, Depoe Bay is on the Oregon Film Trail. So we do have a sign commemorating the filming of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which Jack Nicholson, as his character, actually went on a field trip with the other folks in the hospital and went on a fishing trip, took them out fishing in the harbor. So that's a really exciting thing about Depoe Bay as well.
Well, that's great. I hope that you are going to send us some photos from when that gets going, so that we can see what you guys get up to. That would be so cool.
Absolutely. We have a year, so you can still come visit.
Great. So Roy, as a harbor master of Depoe Bay, I'm curious, can you tell us a bit about what goes on in your harbor and anything else people should know about boating in the smallest navigable harbor in the world?
Well, we don't have a lot of space. That means that the people who are coming in and out of the harbor, it's not always going to be terribly crowded, but when we do have tuna running through here and halibut and salmon, the place can get kind of full and get kind of busy, but we keep the fuel running and we keep the boaters moving.
Great. Is there any time of year you would recommend people visit?
late springtime, early fall is a great time out here when the weather's decent and the seas are calm.
So I've never been there. So how deep is the water around there? I mean, the harbor is so little, and is it deep all the way through that little tiny harbor and deep outside of that too?
Outside of it's not a problem. Inside the harbor, we do have it dredged every few years, and that way we don't have problems. I'd say on average, it's about 12 to 15 feet deep, and so we don't have big boats, mainly because the dog leg coming underneath the bridge, and we don't have a lot of sailboats coming in because they'd have to fit underneath the bridge also. But for the charter boats and for the weekend boaters that are going out, we have enough water to keep them safe.
Super. Well, again, I'm really hoping to visit and see this very cute harbor. So Mayor Gambino, tell us, were you surprised by the win that Depoe Bay became the 2020 best harbor in the United States? How does it feel to win a title like this?
Well, it's incredible. Yeah, absolutely very surprised. I thought for sure it was just a mention and that we would be amongst, hundreds of other harbors in the U.S., certainly a lot of them quite capable of winning that award. But when I found out that we indeed were the ones that won, or one of the ones that won, I was really elated. I think it's just fantastic. And I so appreciate the U.S. Harbors crew for doing all this. It's really nice.
Oh, thank you. And we appreciate all of you who participate and maintain these wonderful coastal communities that make our life on the coast really just so special. And it's, in fact, let's talk to Steve Melo now. Last year's Best Harbor winner, Padanaram, Mass, is really, really lucky to have Steve as their wonderful Harbormaster. And Steve, you welcomed our team down there last year to the in-person awards ceremony. We had a great time. We're so happy to meet all of you, and have been really grateful for your support for this year's competition. Can you tell us a little bit about Padanaram and what it was like for Padanaram to win last year and get the attention as Best Harbor 2019?
Padanaram is often called a sleepy little village. It's a beautiful harbor nature has given us. We do have a man-made break wall that helps keep southerlies at bay. And last year, you were the first event that we hosted at our new Maritime Center, which was perfect for that, right on Padanaram Harbor, public landing, where people can come ashore and shop or walk or just get off the water for a little while. And of course, under COVID, things have changed a little bit this year, and we're seeing restrictions that we wouldn't like, but the people are still showing up. The harbor is just as popular as ever, and boating in general seems to be as popular as ever. So I think that our award last year, our recognition, put us on the map, brought us back into the limelight, if you will, at least for Buzzards Bay in the region. And we were happy to participate and happy to be here again this year to pass the mantle over.
Yeah, great. And I love that hat you're wearing.
And for that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It has been such a pleasure for our team here to get to know you and the residents of Padanaram. I have to say, I was at the Boston Boat Show, and I had several residents of Padanaram literally come running up to me and give me a hug. This is before COVID, you know, because they saw my little U.S. Harbors vest on, and they were like, woohoo! So it was really fun, and I'm really glad you guys have been able to appreciate the win. Absolutely. So I also want to say a quick thank you to Liz Martin from the Harbor Committee in Depoe Bay right now for joining us. She's on the background of the call and she can't be seen or heard, but say hi to her for making, helping Depoe Bay keep a wonderful harbor and everything, you know, going on in the community of Depoe Bay and their harbor community. So have I missed talking to anyone on the phone? Is there anyone I've missed? There's a couple of numbers here, so I don't, it's hard for me to tell exactly. All right, great. So now let's turn it over to Alicia for Q&A quickly. Oh, she's going to have to give me the question. Sorry, she's having some problems. Sorry. We have one coming in here right now. Oh, it's, let's see. All right, what are the 3 things a first-time visitor to Depoe Bay should do?
Want me to answer that?
Yeah, go for it, Laura.
Well, this is a cheat, so I get a 4, but come to the visitor center, which we host to find out what you want to do. I would say a walk in the harbor. That's one of the things, and I say that to everyone, regardless of whether they're associated with U.S. harbors, just because I think it's a beautiful spot. I think it's missed by a lot of visitors, to be honest, because it's down and it's, you know, you can see it. When you see it, it's beautiful. But it's a way you can also see the historic bridge from there. I just get, honestly, just such an exhilarating and warm feeling being in marinas and harbors. Again, unexplainable, but so seeing the boats, smelling, I mean, the harbors are so fun and active, you know, where you can smell the salt air, you can smell the fish and the crab, maybe some fishermen, but just that whole active nature of it. And I think also eat the amazing seafood that comes locally. We have many great restaurants, from casual family restaurants to elevated dining that literally is elevated over the ocean. You can see whales while you're eating, and other marine life and birds and things like that. So did I get 3? I think I got it.
Yeah, and we also have one of our presenters is saying, attendees is saying whale watching. We've got to remind everybody about the whale watching.
Absolutely.
That's whale watching. So what time of year should we come out to do whale watching?
Well, it varies a little bit depending on whether they're coming north or south. But there's a great season between like middle of December to middle of January. And then it starts up again kind of late March into June. And then the gray whales tend to come closer into shore, so it's easier to see them from shore, and the boat trips aren't quite as long, kind of from about June through October. And we also do have resident gray whales, but you can also see other types of whales as well.
That's awesome. So we do have one other question from one of the viewers. What events are you looking forward to most when the harbor reopens?
Bill, do you want to answer that?
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
3 of them. I'm looking forward with the harbor coming open. With the crab feed, we have a wooden boat show. And so people from all over bring wooden boats that they normally have made themselves, and they're lined up along the harbor there. And so people first maybe go to the crab feed, then go down and look at the boats. But then also there's a model boat component that we provide all of the material that you can actually make your own little wooden boat to replicate something and go home with the momentum. So that's gonna be nice to get that going back again with the harbor and an event that we can have again. And I might note with that, there's a ducky derby. Little plastic ducks compete for the many prizes that the merchants provide here in town for this event. So it's quite an event, weekend.
That sounds super fun. Is there anything else that you guys want to highlight before we jump on to the presentation of the awards?
Well, I think another.
Anastasia,
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to say something.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that is a highlight for me and would really not normally be thought of as something incredible, but as Bill was saying, I think, we have a seawall. It's only about 2 feet high, built out of nice old rock long time ago. And it's a curved area where people can park right on the highway, Highway 101, the main highway. And as Bill mentioned, whales come up at the right time of season. They'll come up to those rocks because the water's deep enough right there. And they'll actually brush up against the rocks to clean crustaceans off, or they'll have their young that they've born in down in Mexico, and they'll be worried about them, and they'll keep them against the rocks, between them and the rocks, so that killer whales can't get to them, because that's food for killer whales. But so anyway, long story short, before COVID, it was pretty common for me to go to one of the local coffee shops, pick up my nice hot coffee, and go down and park and just stand there on the wall watching whales. But what was really, really fun and interesting was talking to the people as they walked by. It was such a delight to have people walk up and say, "Have you seen any whales?" You know, and I'd tell them, "Oh, well, yeah, there's one right there," and point to it 15 feet away, or have other people with what do you call it? Binoculars, and they're looking way out past one of the buoys, looking to try and spot whales. And I'll tap them on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, there's one right here," and it's no kidding, 10, 15 feet out from the rocks, and they just go crazy. So that is really an enjoyable experience. I just love it.
Well, thank you for adding that. I think that is such a great picture in my mind of just that spontaneity of being able to see the wonderful marine life that, you know, we are so blessed to have really on this planet, really. And to be so close to it, I mean, what is it we so love about living on the coast? It's just this whole world that is accessible to us, that is open and full and beautiful. And it's just a great thing. All right, so now the time you've all been waiting for. It's sort of funny in this virtual environment, but the presentation of this year's Best Harbor Awards. So let me see, I have to make sure that I have my thing open here now for, like I just need to get 1 second, since my computer crashed right before I started this meeting. I'm a little bit, we got a little bit discombobulated, but let's see what we have here. We have, we're gonna open the awards that we will be presenting in just 1 minute. So drum roll, please. We at U.S. Harbors are thrilled to announce the Harbor of Depoe Bay, Oregon, as this year's grand winner and 2020 Best Harbor in the U.S. The runners-up include, of course, Depoe Bay is the grand winner. Onset, Massachusetts. Padanaram, Massachusetts, last year's 2019 winner. BOOTHBAY, Maine. Cuttyhunk, Massachusetts, and Oriental, North Carolina. So it's quite a group. So the goal for this contest has been to highlight what makes our U.S. harbors special, and particularly encourage the strong social networks that are really, really vital. They're really vital to not only enjoying life on our coast, but to the long-term resilience of our communities and the residents and our economies. So now more than ever, with everything that's going on, this is critically important. So we're especially proud of this year's winning harbors for their amazing community spirit and all those ties that really bind them together. And we're also very, very proud of Padanaram, who is still like roaring in there with community spirit. Steve, we're envious of how close you guys are down there. And unfortunately, we do this virtually, but hopefully next year we'll be able to do it in person again. In addition to all of the plaques that we sent out, each harbor should have received some gifts from us. So next year, you guys in Depoe Bay will expect to see you on this call. A hearty congratulations to all of you. We hope that you have as much fun with this award as we've had with the contest. We would love it if you could please send us a photo of your plaque once you hang it so we can post it to our harbor pages, your harbor pages on our site. And of course, any pictures from you and your community celebrating would be really highly appreciated. Again, congratulations to the community of Depoe Bay. We hope that in spite of the challenges of this year, you have a wonderful year enjoying your best harbor win. And many, many, many thanks to everyone who participated in this year's Best Harbor Contest, as well as to those of you who are presenting here today and everyone watching. And finally, to the very helpful staff we have here at U.S. Harbors that makes all of this possible. Woohoo! Have a great day, everyone. Thank you again. And don't forget to vote for your harbor in next year's 2021 Best Harbor Contest. See you all next year. Bye-bye.
Look forward to having
Thank you, Anastasia.
I'll look forward to seeing you out in Depoe Bay. And take care, Steve. I'll hope to see you too. Bye-bye, everyone.